What's up, meta nerds? This video is all about the Gran species. They are classified as sentient. In fact, they considered themselves to be so intelligent that they felt they could subjugate other species they deemed inferior, like the Dug, but we'll talk about that more in a second. Their average height was 1.5 to 1.8 meters, or just under 5 feet to almost 6 feet tall, so they ranged from a Leia to a Luke. With an average weight of 80 kilograms, or 176 pounds, the Gran species average is about the same as the weight of Americans. The skin color ranged from tan to blue, and their eyes were either black or purple. The average lifespan of a Gran is 79 years, again, the same as your average American, which at this point may be less of a coincidence, and perhaps more of a statement. Gran males and females could look very similar, with both having their 6 ears, 3 large eyes, 2 nostrils, a mouth full of molars, 6 digits on each hand, and 5 digits on each foot. Where the ladies differed was in their 3 breasts, and details on the species' reproductive organs have been kept a secret by Gran biologists, though I'm sure some evidence could be found on the HoloNet. The Gran's ancestors survived on their homeworld of Kinyon by grazing on the plentiful grasslands that covered their world, which would be digested by their 2 stomachs, slowly breaking the food down, and provided nutrients for several days. As their species became more advanced, culinary artists would grow specialized types of grass and find all sorts of ways to prepare tasty, grassy meals. The Gran communities had always kept strong family ties, but even as their society advanced, the majority of the Gran lived in massive, densely packed cities so that they could always be near their friends and family. With more advanced technology, the Gran were able to take over their planet, and in the ultimate display of humiliation, they took terrifying creatures like the Haujiks, which had once eaten their ancestors and elicited primal terror in the species, and put this creature in farms to raise the Haujiks in captivity, and so over the years, they evolved to be so docile that they were able to be kept as household pets. Their gentle nature was further aided by their biology, with the fact that they could not only see in more colors, and in infrared, but could see subtle changes in the muscles and temperature of the face, making them more sensitive to the way that their behavior affected others, and provided a social safety net that could easily spot when a Gran was upset, and help them work through their emotions. That being said, when tragedy struck, it was hard for the Gran to recover, and when a Gran's mate died, their partner usually died within a few days. When they did mate, they usually stayed with that Gran for life, and would not leave the planet Kinyon. When they produced children, Gran were very caring parents, and would raise their kids to understand the intricacies of their society, where balance in the city was maintained by having career quotas, which were filled by having grandchildren be designated to a career early in their schooling, upon which they would be raised to specialize in that field. The government of the Gran included several delegates that were randomly selected from the ruling families every 3.5 years, a system that apparently worked very well, considering the fact that the Gran species had not experienced open warfare since the time before 10,000 BBY. As for religion, it appears the Gran only ever had a female mother goddess figure who was named Dolan, and who, like all female Gran, had 3 breasts and symbolized fertility both in the fields of grass and when rolling in the hay. Despite their peaceful nature and society, when the Gran started to colonize around 1000 BBY, Gran culture and the way the galaxy at large would perceive them would both change for the worse. With their strong family ties, it was unusual for Gran to ever want to leave home, but the few that did set up colonies on the planet Hack and Malastair. Over the generations, these trailblazers helped to normalize a Gran leaving home, something which shook the moral fabric of society, causing the government to pass laws forbidding just anyone from emigrating, and even passed laws to make their homeworld more isolationist, only allowing alien visitors to travel to certain cities. Similarly, the Gran's harshest punishment was considered to be exile. The few Gran who were exiled would wear all black so that they were not reminded of the fine, colorful cloth of their homeworld, and would often go insane or actually die from a lack of contact with others. Some fell in with spacers and bounty hunters, but these Gran were said to have lost any sense of morality, often becoming addicted to drugs and spice, and were often known to sell out their alien allies. When the Gran colonists on Hack and Malastair realized that their cultural revolution had been stopped, they decided to abandon the old ways and run things how they wanted. So that's it for part 1, and in part 2, we'll look at how those colonies developed in isolation from the Gran of their homeworld, and how the Empire would occupy Kinyon and threatened to change Gran society. But that's it for part 1. Hope to see everybody in part 2.